Again, I'm Dyson Knight, international recording performing artist. Shout out BAHA MEN. And my partner in progress is Dr. Kent Bazard. Kent, you can introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Kent Bazard, your friendly neighborhood sports physician, sports performance trainer, and sports nutritionist, and just regular Baha Men dude.
Yeah. So jumping right in on this, Kent, why is
Yeah,
this
man.
even something that we have to discuss? How is this not like a cut and dry type situation? I mean, in your estimation, because that's the first thing I said to my wife. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it seemed, hey Katura, hey, it seemed like it didn't need to be addressed. Like, not saying it didn't, it's not an important topic,
Right.
but it was a surprise that it was an issue, if I could say it like that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's exactly how I feel.
I'm curious to know how or why it became an issue. Was there a case in the news, or what exactly? I wonder what exactly happened.
Um, I know some situations that merit the insane, well, I think it's insane, um, need to put it in the books, right? That that raping your wife as what you would, the first, that's the first thought. You'd be like a man raping a woman, but a woman can also be raping a man. Um, but raping your significant other in marriage is against the law because, in our Christian nation, we have a lot of unspoken expectations in our in our social ongoings that falls in line with what people read and take away from the Bible. And in the Bible, it says that, the woman's body belongs to a man and the man's body belongs to the woman. And you shouldn't deprive each other of intimacy. Um, now, however, in most cases, the Bible goes on, I think this is Paul talking, goes on to say, it is a consideration, not a command, right? He's not commanding you to sleep with your husband if he say he wants it.
Right.
It's not a command that you sleep with your wife because she says she wants it. And my thing is, what really throws me for a loop is I try, and this is something that gets me in a lot of trouble in my day-to-day life, expecting people to be civil, expecting people to be humane, expecting people to be fair, expecting people to be loving. Because if you are humane, loving, fair, there's nothing in you other than a temporary moment of insanity that's going to provoke you or make you rape the person you are married to,
Right.
right? And here's my thing, and here's my the biggest question I have with this situation, because the perception is a man, a husband raping his wife. And before I go into that, here's one of the scenarios that threw me off guard. Picture this: a husband and a wife separated, right?
Right.
She's moved on. She's probably dating somebody else now. The divorce is not final. And the husband says, "You is mine. You is mine until this paper says otherwise." So he ends up forcing his wife in paper to have sex. And that's rape in marriage. They go to court. She says that he rapes him. On paper, it's the law. There's no law that determines these things to be, just cut and dry. You have to. You can't say that he raped you because he's your husband.
Here's where I disagree with that. Um, I think the law kind of does address this, and I, first of all, I agree.
Yeah, and yep.
Let's make some blanket statements here, Dyson,
Yeah.
before before the people who listening just cut away. Let's make some let's make some blanket statements. Number one, and I'm speaking directly to any male, anyone out there who considers himself a man. If you have to forcefully, if you have to force a woman to have sex with you,
Fox.
I can't say what it is on Facebook, but
Whisper, I can say
you
it. No,
know,
text it to me.
and
I can say it for you.
anyone who knows me personally know I got beef with you directly. I got
Yeah.
direct beef with you. If you think you need to force yourself sexually on anybody, I have a problem with you. And
Yeah.
I will volunteer to deal with you personally. I will volunteer. I'll be the first one in line. All
You
right?
and y'all don't want I don't know if y'all saw Kent's last post with him doing martial arts by the Chinese embassy or wherever that was, y'all. This man will kick your A double in two.
I
So
think every martial artist has that situation where they wish where they could just let go. Bruce Lee spoke about it, being in a situation where you could just let go and just let everything out physically onto another person. That would be
right,
my situation. All right.
yeah,
So let's just be clear. And that's
right,
married or not.
right,
That's
of
I don't care how
course.
old you are, and that's male or female, by the way. But especially the males, especially
Yeah,
the male, because you're supposed to be held to a certain standard as a man. Period. And if you don't
right.
like that, switch sides. You can do that now. You can do it very easily. It's very easy to do it now. As it used to be hard to do it. Now you can just say it and just switch sides. So if you don't want that responsibility, switch sides.
For real.
But that's your responsibility. Your responsibility is to protect women. Period. Period. That's our job. So
Right.
anyone who does that is a piece of Facebook blank to me, and I have no problems dealing with you. However, the law does, and I think this is the problem. I'm not a lawyer, but I've read the acts, and the
I'm a
last
lawyer and
situation,
I ain't read nothing. I'll tell you if it's right or wrong. Go ahead.
the last situation you gave, for example, right? And I think the problem is in the wording, and I think people don't like the wording. Um, the last situation you gave, for example, it does speak to where a man and oh sorry, a husband and wife may have been separated, and he forces himself on her without her permission.
Right.
He can be indicted for that. That is rape. He can be indicted for that. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? And but in a scenario where they're in a home and they're not separated yet, let's say this is the first time this happened, and we need to address that point in a second. But let's just say this is the first time it happens, or that the one spouse perceives themselves to have been raped. Again, I think the problem is the law kind of doesn't call that rape. The law calls that sexual assault or domestic violence,
Mhm.
and that comes under the Domestic Violence Act. And the lawyers can correct me, but from reading the Domestic Violence Act and reading the Sexual Offenses Act, that's kind of what I understood. Because domestic
Hmm.
violence includes sexual assault by a spouse, sexual, emotional, and even financial assault. I didn't even know that's possible. Financial abuse,
Hmm.
sorry. I didn't
Hmm.
know you could financially abuse another another person, and you can be charged. You can actually be charged with this. Like someone can charge you with that. So I didn't know that was possible. But nevertheless, these things are addressed in the law. But I think people want to hear the term marital rape. And I think there's a little bit of social pressure to make it seem like we're protecting women from these horrible men. And I think that's the wrong direction to go down because rape isn't about man versus woman. Rape is about abuse between two spouses. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I mean, in the marriage I'm talking about. In the marriage I'm talking about. Now,
Hmm.
the law calls clearly if you force yourself on somebody who is not your spouse, and
Right.
I think they said, and they're above consenting age, that's called rape. If they're
Yeah.
below consenting age, it has a different name,
Hmm.
right? But it's the same
Yeah.
thing. And did
Yeah.
you know you can get life? Didn't you know you can get life for this? Did you know
Mm.
that?
I
You can
didn't
get
know.
life.
I'm happy to hear that.
You can get
I
life
am
in jail
happy
here
to
in the
hear that
Bahamas
you
for
can
that.
get life for rape.
It's right
Yes.
there. I'm looking at it. It's right there. You can get life,
Hmm.
imprisonment for life. So I don't think one thing that bothers me a lot is when I hear some persons make the claim that we live in some type of um in a society where men promote rape, and I find that very offensive because
Hmm.
no man I've ever met in the Bahamas is okay with raping a woman. None.
None that
So
I've
none that
met.
I've met
I've
and had that type of conversation with. So I'm saying I don't like when we take that approach, like, oh, like women, like there's just a whole bunch of predatory men on the streets and women are in danger 24 hours a day. You know,
right.
these men who think that way are the kind of men who, when they go to prison, they have a very hard time. These are the guys who are at the bottom of the barrel when they go to. If you even just accused of rape, you don't even have to be found guilty. If
Right.
you end up in holding just being accused of rape, you're liable to end up in the hospital that night. So men don't
Perfect.
tolerate rapists. We don't tolerate rapists. We don't. Let me just be clear. Men do not tolerate
Men.
rapists.
Men. And when we
Period.
say men, we mean men.
We
We
mean
mean
men
men.
do not
Yes.
tolerate rapists. We don't.
I mean, I have to wonder. I mean, the question is, why don't men tolerate rape? Rape, and I feel it's men are in tune with what it means to be a man. Men are in tune with it, we have a love connection to the opposite sex, or
Right.
we have a love connection.
All
We
right.
have, and it's not sexual what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in a protective way. I'm talking about the reason a man would open the door for a woman, the reason a man would check on his mother, a reason why we would watch our daughters way more carefully than we watch our sons.
Right.
Um, right? No, and it is that connection that would never allow a man to violate his wife. I wonder if it's a I'm not gonna use any of this time to make any excuses for anyone um, that would even attempt such horrible things. I'll say this as it relates to our laws, because that's what we're really talking about, and as it relates to something what Wendy was saying when I was talking to her about this very same thing. We no longer can rely on our humanity to make these determinations. Everything has to be set in stone and written in black and white. I personally have issues with that because it means that there will always be loopholes that
Mm.
allow an intelligent predator to still get away with foolishness. But if we have more of a village type approach to dealing with these situations, I think these matters would be a whole less um, frequent, and that's another thing that scares me. It happens frequent enough, even though you don't know any men like that, and I don't know any men like that. It happens frequent enough for it to be a discussion.
No, if you're talking about sexual assault on women, too frequently, all right? There's an issue with that, right? I mean, I
Hmm.
I personally have an issue with that. The abuse that men usually experience in a relationship or even in a marriage is usually physical or emotional, right? It's usually not sexual. Um, and if it is it's all of the abuse cases from men are underreported, horrifically underreported. But let's just put that aside for a second. Um, So yes, I agree that it is a problem. And but here's the thing. Um, we have, like you said, we have a responsibility, and we know we have this innate responsibility to protect women. And that's something that men are born with. You don't even have to teach them that at its most basic level. They see it, they accept it. But I think we lose. I think we've lost a lot of ourselves. I think we lost a lot of ourselves.
Y'all
Um,
abusing men, man,
I,
Wendy.
I can leave that alone. See, that's why I said let me put it to the side, because when you start to talk about males getting abused, it's a joke, and you know, police don't take them seriously. They can't
Right,
tell their friends. They can't tell the family. They can't tell anybody. So they
right,
come to the hospital. I always tell you, Dyson, it's very hard to lie to a doctor, because we read people for a living. This is what we do for a living. We read people
right,
and we read situations. So when you come and you tell me you fall down and you got a big slash here, and you tell me you
right.
fall down. So I'm like, well, what were you doing? What were you doing? How did you fall down? Anyway, let me leave that alone. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, yeah,
We're talking
yeah.
about marital rape. Let's
I
not
do
go
I
there.
do want to touch a bit of that because that
Okay.
takes place in marriage too. So I mean we don't have to run from that conversation, but you want to finish that point?
Yeah, so I want to, what I wanted to say is that I think that, and it's, I just wanted to touch on this because it's kind of a different situation, but I think that the problem is, um, we've lost a lot of our, what's the word, modesty in society.
Mm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think, so even more than us 90s and 80s and 90s teens, because we thought we were the worst ever in history, right? And
Yeah.
then along comes this other group, and
To put us
and
to
it's like
shame.
holy, it's like holy, what are you guys doing? Like, wow, man, what are you
Yeah.
like? What are you guys doing? Like this. I saw a girl when I was driving on the road today. I was passing a church. I didn't call no name, but if you saw the teenage, let's say low, young 20s or teenage girl came out of this church with a dress on, and I'm talking just below the butt cheek. You know those kind of dress?
Yeah. Yep.
Just below the butt cheek.
Yeah.
She's got the bag, not the little bag with the little hand, the little loop that they walk with, and she got the
Yeah.
heels on. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, if you ever came in Reverend Sanders' church like that, he's gonna tell you from the pulpit to get up and get out.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
you understand what I mean? It's amazing, man. It's amazing. And maybe we're getting old too, bro. But you
I
know,
I
maybe when
I
I
think
was
that's it.
17, when I was 17, I might have seeked her. I might have tried to get her number. I might have tried to. I might have tried to talk to her. But now when I see her, I'm like, this girl don't know how much danger she's putting herself in. I mean, regardless of the fact that, and Bill Burr talks about this all the time,
Yeah.
and also the other guy, I forgot his name right now. But yes, we're talking about sexual assault, and it's a horrible thing, especially males on females. But at the same time, you have to not put yourself or not present yourself in a certain way. So in some cases, that doesn't make a difference, but in a lot of cases, you could
Mm-hmm.
reduce the amount of attention you get,
Mm-hmm.
unwanted attention, especially,
Uh-huh.
just by
Mm-hmm.
the way you carry yourself and behave. There
Mm-hmm.
were some girls at my school when I was in high school that guys would never try to approach a certain way because you
Right.
know she don't play that.
Right.
You understand
Right.
what I mean? So you
Right.
know she don't play that. So you know you can't try pull on a dress when she walk past. She'll
Mm-hmm.
tear off your head,
Slap. Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying that we both have to do our part. We both have to do our part. But that's not going to change, obviously, because you know WAP is the thing. So so you know that's not going to change. We're just going to have to kind of adjust to it. But I think we would be amiss to not say to these persons, especially the ladies, that the way you carry yourself is going to attract a certain type of attention. And
Correct.
you cannot be
Mm-hmm.
surprised when you get this type of attention. And this type of guy, usually gives you this type of attention.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And whether we want to admit it or not, that's just the truth.
And we don't want to admit it. And I know that women especially don't want to admit it. And I agree with their argument. The argument is it's my body, it's my personal space. Under no circumstances whatsoever, if you're not invited, then you don't have access.
But it's
Period.
not personal, it's not
Um,
personal space when you show it to everybody.
yeah, but
Nobody
when
nobody's saying anything
you
about nobody's saying anything about touching. It's just
but you
attention.
did you mean it does come to that. The pull of the hand, the yank on the dress, the coming up and feeling as though you can touch them on the shoulder or whatever the case may be. It
Yeah.
goes to that. A yell, a cat call from across the street or what have you. I mean, ain't nothing
Something.
much you can do
The
about that.
point is you're gonna get that type of attention is not the type of attention you should be trying to get.
True.
It's not. That's not that type of
Absolutely.
attention is most likely the guy who's not going to take no for an answer. When you
I,
start to say no, he's going to say, "What do you mean? Why are you saying no? You don't mean that." Or he's just a predator or whatever. But I'm saying you're gonna attract the wrong type of attention or from the wrong type of person in that regard. So I don't. So I always think you have to be careful with that. We have to be careful, and we have to be truthful about it.
Yeah, I mean that's I think that's another side of the relationship between today's, well, even today's, but age old
At the
man
same time
versus
too.
woman, because
I'm sorry, go ahead, go ahead,
mhm,
go ahead, go ahead.
man versus woman, because I think through history we see where women well, through the history that we've been taught, we see where women have been oppressed, where their sexuality has really been covered up and kind of shut down by men who honestly, um, they can't handle it. They don't know how to behave when they see a woman who's showing some skin, showing some flesh. I think I honestly get what you're saying, but I put more of the blame on the men because, like in certain religions, the where they only show their eyes, they
Hmm.
walk around, they only show their eyes, they're fully covered up. Muslims and anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Um, that is not that literally is that's
But
literally
that was
saying don't show your body because you're going to get taken advantage of.
there's a meme I saw with a woman. I forgot the name of that outfit, but there's a woman walking past another woman who was dressed the way I just told you about, and both of the
Right.
women were saying to each other in their minds, the little thought bubble. They were saying in their minds, "Wow, look at her. She's so oppressed." You understand what I'm saying? They were both saying the same thing to each
Right.
other. We're
Right.
assuming that
Right.
we're
Right.
assuming
True. True.
hijabs. Thank you, Wendy. Those women, we're assuming that they're oppressed because we don't like what they're wearing. We think that they should wear what we're wearing when they're quite fine wearing what they want to wear. If they want to stop wearing it, they'll stop wearing it. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? So let's not make decisions. Let's stop making decisions for other people. But I wanted to say too, don't think for a second that I'm excusing um,
The behavior from the man.
foolish behavior by men. Because
Right.
I think it's
Right.
stupid to call after a woman. I don't care if she wearing a job or not. I think it's silly to call after a woman. That's something I've never done. I've missed lots of opportunities to talk to pretty women because I refuse to say anything to them. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I'm quite fine with that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Yeah.
When the
What
situation is right, I will approach her, and that's why I end up with the woman that I end up with.
well,
Because
I
I
just
made
look
like,
at them and then they just come talk to me. Um,
well, see, I got it like you. I got it like
you
you.
just said never tried. You got to try to
I
look. I
got it
just
like you.
teach my son to look. Um,
So I'm saying you can't let what is his name? Barrington Levy has one of his songs. He says, "Pretty looks don't control me."
uh,
You understand what I'm saying? And
real
that's
talk.
something that I've said. I've said it to my son already. He's only 3. I've said it to him already, and I've said it to many other young men. Pretty looks don't control me. Don't let it control you.
Right, real
You
talk, and
understand?
and that's real. What I wanted to draw reference to in when I talked about the women that fully cover up in their religious beliefs or social beliefs, that is to me is an extreme because you literally they only allowed to use the part of their bodies that they need in order to see so they don't buck up into things, right? So to say that you have to cover up yourself to that extreme in order for you to be considered wholesome, you look at the opposite end of that extreme and see the women that would go out in a two-piece, not the G string, but the smaller string, whatever it is called, the smallest string bikini, and you not consider her wholesome. I think that there was a whole space in our evolution as a people where we just keep widening the gap. Okay, let me see if I can better explain what I'm saying. I'm saying you have a nude person on this side, and you have a fully clothed person on this side, and both of them pretty much still getting harassed. And
True.
and when they get harassed, they are both being blamed. On this side, where you can only say her eyes, well, her eyes were too pretty. That's why I harassed her. And then on this side saying,
That's
well,
what
she
you do.
wasn't wearing no clothes. That's why I harassed her. Or she wasn't wearing her. I could see her hair and it turned me on. And so it's not my fault. It's her fault. It's to me, it's like a an excuse to tell a
I think
woman what she has to wear in order for her to not be harassed.
I don't think we should tell anybody what to wear. Well, what I'm saying is I'm saying is you wear you. I'm not in the habit of wanting to tell anybody to do anything that's
Right,
legal. All right. If
right,
you
right,
want to
right.
dress a certain way, dress a certain way, but don't be surprised, is what
Right.
I'm
No,
saying.
we on the same side. That's the same thing I
When you
say.
get the attention that you're getting, don't be surprised
Hmm.
that you because you're almost showing the thing people usually pay to see. You're almost showing it right in the street, and not to mention church. So I mean, so don't be surprised when you get a certain kind of attention.
Right.
I think it's absurd to think that you can't get a certain attention. At the same time, I am of the I am very big on teaching young men to control themselves, especially when it comes to behavior with the opposite sex, and focusing more on developing themselves and paying more attention to what they need to do. Quick example, when I was training with some of my athletes, I had like four males and about three or four females, and they
Hmm.
all had a set of work to do, and they're all laughing and giggling and flirting with the females. And then all of a sudden, the females got up and left, and they was like, "Where y'all going?" They were like, "We're finished," and they left. And the guys
Hmm.
wasn't finished. And I said, "You see, I hope y'all never forget this lesson. Y'all here
Hmm.
wasting time laughing around with these girls, pretty as they are, but y'all laughing and wasting time with them. And you know what? They laughing with you too, and they
Right.
flirting with you.
But they
But
doing
guess
their
what?
work.
They getting their work done. And when they finish with their work, they getting up and they gone, bro. They leaving you right here. So I hope
I
you
just
learn this lesson, and I hope you pay attention. You understand
I
what I'm
think it's
saying?
that
Get your
I
work
think it's
done. Focus on what you
yeah.
need to do. Focus on what you need to do. Get your work done, and then all that stuff will follow. That's
I
always
think
my
that's the
lesson.
same I think that's the same level of stupid that has these married men thinking that they can do whatever they want with their wives simply because that's their property, right? And I
That's
think
that's
something
nothing.
that
That's
Wendy,
nothing. That's nothing short of a barbaric moron
yeah,
who would think
absolutely.
something
That's what
like
I
that.
say. That's that level of stupid.
So, but here's the
And
thing, though. Here's the thing, though. Just like just like some people are saying that, and right here in the chat, people are saying that we need to focus on certain things. We also need to focus on selecting better mates, selecting
I
better spouses, because I
I
can't
asked
understand for the life of me. I can't
I,
understand for the life of me how you could, and maybe because our minds are wired a little different, but I don't understand how you can marry somebody who can sexually abuse you slash rape you. And even so,
right.
if that happens, what is the next move? Because if he gets up the next morning, makes you breakfast, and starts and butter your toast and stuff and drop the kids to school,
Hmm.
obviously he didn't think he raped you. So there's something wrong. There's something wrong. If you think you were raped and he doesn't, there's something wrong there. There's a conversation that y'all need to have that y'all missed long before you got in your relationship that you should have had.
I, yeah, I agree. I want to deepen this conversation and get into a little bit of danger, because I want to bring in the element of religious beliefs and our social conditioning and our training as men. Yes, we are trained, if we are trained right, to protect women, but I would admit that I'm also trained to think that the man is the head of the household. As I got older, I started to change that frame of thought when I started to be a bit more exposed to a lot of African heritage and different tribal um, 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 societies and ways of life, and history of the the woman and her importance in society, and in certain places where she would be queen, or she would be the leader of a tribe, or something, you know, to that, but she would actually be head, um, because of what she contributed to that tribe, or to that society. And I think we have not been exposed to seeing a lot of that, um, not without it being some sense of emasculation in that household. You
Mm.
understand what I'm saying? So if we see a woman as the head, then we are seeing the man as good for nothing. And I think what that stirs up is a culture of, I'm the man. I need to be strong. I can't be no punk. This woman can't tell me what to do. I say that a lot. This woman can't tell me what to do. Right? Right?
But I mean, she
um,
can tell you what to do as much as she wants. The
right, but I
question
ain't
is, are
doing
you going to
it.
do it?
Right, right. So, but it makes you, it almost, like, I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of that training, because people that aren't as loving as I am, would take this same type of training and turn it into, um, I could do what I feel like doing with this woman. You see what I'm saying?
So,
Because
so
I'm in charge.
Dyson,
She living under
you,
my roof. She's spending my money.
if I,
I pay the bills around here. So
uh,
that what you got between your legs is mine.
yeah, have a drink, bro.
Oh yeah, okay, let me do it. All
Have
right,
a
you go
drink.
ahead. You go ahead.
Have a drink.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
oh, that's good. You know, so if I remember correctly, bro, you grew up in a single family house, single parent
Right.
home with
Correct.
mom, right?
Correct.
And I'm, was one of the last in our generation. Two-parent homes were getting small. I also grew up in a home with a very strong woman, and
Yes.
your mom is one of those
Yes.
same strong women, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I had
Absolutely.
strong female. My mom basically ran the house. You understand what I mean?
Right.
So, and I mean, at the same time though, everybody knew that the final decision, or whatever the leadership decision was for the household as a whole, rested with that. Even
Right.
if he said, "Go ask your mommy," or even if she said, "Go ask your
Right.
daddy," which they would
Right.
exchange from time to time. One thing I never saw them disrespect each other
Hmm.
or emasculate, or whatever the opposite of that is. I never
Right.
seen she never disrespected him, at least not in front of us. She never
Right.
emasculated him in front of us, and he never disrespected her in front of us. See what I'm
Right.
saying? So even if they didn't agree, they were both head. At least they were both in charge of the house, and she was the head of the he was the head of the household, and everybody knew that. At the same, what that taught me, and I don't know, I guess I didn't realize it until later, but it taught me, one, to always seek out strong women to have relationships with. I always had relationships with strong-minded women. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? But I'm saying you need more than just a strong mind or just a strong personality. to
For
call
sure.
yourself a strong woman or a strong man.
Hmm.
We tend to learn, we tend to misinterpret what these things mean. We think it only means being loud or being muscular or being rowdy. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
But you need more than that. You need to come a little harder than that. To me, a strong man doesn't have to raise his voice at all.
True.
I speak and that's
True.
it.
True.
I don't have to raise my voice. If you have to raise your voice, if you have to assert your manhood in your own house, then you're not the man in the house. That's the way I feel.
I
That's the
I
way I feel. So, but let me just finish.
I
All I'm saying is, all I'm
no, go
saying
ahead. No,
is,
go ahead.
all I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, I never wanted from, and I guess that's from the experience I had in my house, in my household growing up. I never wanted a woman who would just do everything I say just because I say it. I didn't want that.
Right.
I never wanted that. I wanted a
Right.
woman who could listen to me and say, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but maybe you should try this. And she got to be smart enough to do that. She got to be in tune with me enough to do that. She have to respect
Hmm.
me enough so that if I say to her, well, I hear what you saying I must do, but I'm still going to do this,
Yes.
to respect me and say, okay, if that's what you decide, cool. And that's essentially that's the woman that I ended up with eventually.
Right.
It took a couple battles to get there, but but I, but I eventually I eventually got there. But I never ever ever with all of that, with thinking I'm the head, with I'm thinking knowing I'm the head of the house, knowing I'm responsible for my family, knowing I'm responsible for protecting, providing for my wife, my children, my household.
Right.
Never, ever, ever has it ever occurred to me that I could just go and grab her and take her anytime I want and she can't say no. That has
Right.
never occurred to me. So it just baffles me that this is some type of epidemic that's going on.
Well,
I've never heard this to be so, and I've never heard, you know, I've never heard, like we said, we just don't hang around these guys, I guess. And I heard the pastor on that video that went around,
right.
and I have to say he didn't sound very intelligent to me.
Hmm.
He just didn't.
I,
But
I don't know which
but guess
pastor
what?
it was.
If his wife is happy with him, then whatever. But I mean, good for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
What floats?
but I don't think
Hmm.
I own anybody's body. You understand what I mean? If your wife is refusing you, that's an issue to deal with. We got to deal with that. Why are you refusing me? Do I smell bad? Uh, what? Am I no longer attractive? Did I put on 60 pounds? What happened? Am
Hmm.
why are we not gelling anymore that you're resisting me? Something else is wrong that we need to address here, right?
Absolutely. And that's
My wife's
I
laughing.
totally 100,000% agree with you. Like it's you mentioned you asked the question, something that I asked the question too. Like where are they finding these men, that would do these things? And I have to consider the other side of what you were talking about when it comes to the way a woman dress. I think it's important to say that under the conditions of you having a man that that does everything for you, that is a dangerous that can be a dangerous position to be in as well, right? And I think a lot of women have experienced, especially if women that have been in the dating game, like going clubbing and stuff like that. You would experience if you met your husband because he bought you a drink and felt like you had to dance with him the whole night, or just stuck around you like okay, use mine. Then it's potentially it's safe to say that he is going to be an overprotective, very obsessive person, right? And I think a lot of times um, um, people get trapped in in with people, get trapped in relationships with people that feel like they own them because of the things that they do
And
for them.
that goes both ways. You're right. That goes both ways.
Right.
That goes both ways. You're right. You're right.
It
You know,
definitely goes.
my buddy Ruckus man here made a good point. I mean, these same bad boys that seem to be so attractive. Yeah, I mean, it's true. The bad boy is attractive, and me, you, and and I dare any man to lie and say that they never try to act tough to impress a woman. I want you. I want anybody. I want any man to lie to me and say they never done that before. You understand what I'm saying? So that's trash, right?
Right.
We do these things so that we can impress women, or we act tough. So because we know that the bad boy is attractive, the bad guy is attractive. Always was. He has the bad guy has some sexual whatever aura around him, right? Women think that this guy
Right.
is an alpha male, and he's, you understand what I'm saying? He's somebody who can protect her and possibly even provide. But the problem is, like you said, like Ruckus Man said, bad boys tend to do bad things. So,
All their
so
bad lives.
all the bad life. Not saying you
Let
can't
me,
find love. Not saying you can't find love, but I'm saying, you know,
right.
um, you could even end up in jail and leave you alone. That's not good either.
True. I want to try something. JP is trying to get in on the show. And this is the Sup'm show with Dyson Knight and Dr. Kent Bazard. I wonder if three people can be in. Let me see. We can just try it because we're trying things in
Gonna crash Facebook.
2022. I know, right? Facebook don't love us. But the topic of discussion is marital rape, which is a hot topic right now in the Bahamas. So let me see if I can get JP in. If I press this add button, let me see. Ask JP knows join the broadcast. If they accept, they'll join. Um, Audio, video, your audience is set public. Okay, cool. So I'll add. See what happens.
Cindy said spend some time with yourself
Ooh.
and get to know who we are as a human being. That's correct. That's correct. Boy, you did
Okay.
it.
What's up,
What
guys?
up?
It
What up?
works.
What up, brother?
Oh,
What you saying, bro?
everything cool? What's going on? Let me get
Marital
some.
rape.
Yeah,
What up?
man.
What up, Dyson? What's going on, man?
But I'm good, man.
Let me get some good lighting in here.
I got all my lights on.
Hold on.
Now see, I'm surrounded by men who never had to chase women. Y'all never had to
Ain't,
chase. Y'all
ain't,
never had to
ain't that
chase
the
women.
truth?
I had to
Anyway,
work hard. You understand what I'm saying?
Ah, there
where
You
we go.
guys,
you mean? Where you mean at doctor's hospital, like,
I
or
had to,
where?
I had to work hard.
Where? Not at
Anywhere.
Bombs Academy.
It took me
Where?
3 years to
BBC?
get. It took me 3 years to get my wife. It took me 3 years.
Yeah, but
Right.
that's fee. You know, fee out there.
It took three years, bro, before
Fee and
even.
Wendy them that's top tier. You know, you got to put in some time. You got to put in work. You
So
know,
what's the
the hoochie
topic?
mamas them.
What's the topic of discussion for tonight, gents?
We started with marital rape, and it's
What's
kind of
that?
an
I'm
easy
sorry.
discussion. Marital rape.
Okay.
We kind of know it's kind of we kind of agree fairly easy on. Wait, Wendy talking all your business, babe. Look out.
I check it. I check it for.
You're talking all your business, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
but as I said, we're talking marital rape, and I think we all came to a very easy conclusion that um, no spouse should forcefully or sexually forcefully have sexual intercourse with the other spouse. And if you
Correct.
do that, there's some other issues that need to be addressed there.
Mhm.
Either
Agreed.
why you're not having sex with me, or why you feel like you need to take it from me. Those things need to be addressed. And what I think the last thing we were talking about is, especially on the female side, because we still kind of believe in the traditional role of the man trying to win the female's affection. So
Okay.
the last point we made was that, you know, one thing we want to teach our daughters is to be able to discern what type of male this is who could possibly sexually assault you, even if he's married, who thinks that he owns you to the point where he could assault you sexually during marriage. And this is something that should have came up long before you guys got married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we said that bad boys, you know, that's what Ruckus said, and the girls trying to jump on him. But that's what the Ruckus said, is that bad boys are attractive.
We all now, Kent, you know, hold on now.
Boys are attractive.
Listen, it doesn't matter. In my humble opinion, right? It doesn't. My opinion now. So, ladies, chill. In my opinion, everybody knows. No matter how you look at it, the first initial attraction, women are attracted to bad boys. It's just the way it is.
That's the way it is.
They are initially. No, good guys always finish last. In my opinion. Now, let me explain what I mean when I say. Let me explain when I say good guys now. Initially, okay. Hold on, I got a call coming in. This is more important though. I'll decline that call. Okay. The bad guys just shows a quality that attracts females, regardless.
Yeah.
It's like you'll have females out here that will know you have multiple women. Okay. They'll know you indulge in all types of street activities and what's not. That's exciting to them. Initially. Okay. A female 9 times out of, well, let me say 9 out of 10. 7 times out of 10. They're only interested in the good guy as they get older and ready to settle down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because at that point, the good guy is beneficial to her. In her early years, she's not interested in the good guy. The good guy is considered lame. The good guy is considered mama's boy. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. I mean, that's okay being that type of guy. But listen, for a little back history here. Me and Kent, we have like a 30-year friendship. So it's not like I don't know him. He know me inside and out. I know him inside and out. No homo. You know, so the bad guy always finish on top, man. Even at this point right now, you still have to have an edge to you, in my opinion, to keep some sort of attraction still going. Like Dyson, I heard you said earlier, and you're gonna get in trouble for this one. When you said that I pay the bills and rah, 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 rah. Listen, although you said that, and let me guess, in the chat, Wendy's your wife, no? I see the same last name.
Correct,
and guess what? She threw laughing emojis to that. But guess what? Somewhere along the line, that turned her on a bit. Regardless. Because it's the truth.
Yeah, that's true, Andy.
That's the truth.
You have to cut the
So disrespect to her, but that's the truth. Look at him.
So she can wait. That's what she can do. She gonna wait.
No, but it's not unnatural and it's not unreasonable. Confidence, assertiveness, bravery, being able to control a situation, being able to be protective in a situation. These are things that are associated with being a bad boy.
Yes.
Not always true, but that's what's associated.
Watch this. Hey, watch this. Hey, babe.
Oh, and sexual.
Watch this. Watch this. Watch it right here. Come here. Look, I want to ask you a question. You like bad boys or a little lame good guys?
I like bad boys.
There you go. All right.
Hey, I don't like how you put the lame part in there.
You know what, hey, listen, I only put the lame in there because controversy sells, and your show's gonna do great.
Well, let me tell you what I did. I always try to achieve balance, and it's just the person in me. I always try to achieve balance. So I understand. But I was in no raw gangster. I've done some stuff I shouldn't have done, but I was never no robber or nothing like that. I never
Yeah,
robbed
same
nobody.
here. Yeah, I agree.
Never
I
robbed
agree.
nobody at gunpoint, and I never murdered nobody.
Exactly.
Definitely never sexually assault nobody.
Yep. Yep.
But at the same time, if you touch me, you ain't gonna enjoy it.
Yep.
So,
Right.
and,
Yep.
and if you touch my wife, you really ain't gonna enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
I'm saying, so she knows, she knows that if I need to, I can bring out the baddest boy you
Yeah.
ever seen. But so I always try to achieve that balance
Mhm.
because when you have balance, you don't end up making stupid mistakes.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, being a husband and being in court for raping your wife, which I think is just stupid. How in the world you get in court for raping your wife? There has to be something that you have to be an absolute idiot to get into that situation, or
Yeah.
you're an idiot, or your other a word that we can't say.
That's a
Right?
big statement from Anton just now, though, too. Bad boys are less prone to rape than insecure men. And rape is about control way more than sex. I
Absolutely.
totally agree.
No,
There's got to be some hate towards women.
no, but that's accurate. Rapists are cowards.
Yep.
Rapists are cowards. Everybody knows this.
Yep.
Absolute cowards, because they're preying on what they think is easy prey. You know, trying to take the ultimate prize from the weakest prey they could. That's the ultimate coward. And no rapist is willing to face real men and brag
Oh
about
no.
what they do. No
But
rapist is willing to do that.
here's the antsy part about this now. In this topic of marital rape, you have a lot of the church is getting behind this, and on the side of saying that it is impossible for you to rape your wife. That's your wife. That body belongs to you. And
Right.
and in that sense, like I feel as though there's some serious danger ground because how far do we take that? Because some churches don't really believe in divorce. They believe like it's for better or worse. These things in the Bible, you should figure it out. You should work it out. And it kind of pins and they teach women to be long suffering and enduring and they really beat down on, I feel. Now some pastors, I've heard some pastors. I know my wife's dad. He's a pastor at Judah Worship Center, and he's now the overseer for all of the churches. I can't remember all of the titles that they use, but he speaks to the men in the church about how they should treat their wives, and he lives it. I see how he treats his wife, and I wonder if maybe that's it. Maybe we don't have. Correct me if I'm wrong. We don't have enough examples. I don't know what's happening. We don't have or because I'm one of those persons. I'm afraid to get angry to the point where I was like bust somebody's head off. I don't think my wife has ever seen me carry on like that. But she don't really know my thoughts. And the reason why I'm afraid to do that is because I know I ain't got no chill. I know that.
You have to protect your wife from that too. The same thing with my wife. The first time she saw me got really angry, she told me she don't want to see that again.
Right.
So you have to protect your wife from you sometimes.
Yeah.
What's very important that I want to touch on, Dyson. You got to be very careful with these certain churches too. Very, very careful, bro, because some of these churches, they pander to certain situations to be beneficial to them.
Real.
You know what I mean? You really can't base, in my opinion, you really can't base every aspect of relationship based on the scripture, based on biblical references, because times have changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of these churches pander to females. A lot of them. And when I say pander to them, it's okay, it's okay to an extent. But the majority, it's like the majority of churches, the members are predominantly females.
True.
So they have to say things to pertain to them in particular. The hell with men in the church. The pastor, you got a few leaders, a few, male members, majority of females, bro. So when they tell the female to endure and just deal with it and stick with you, This is what they do. I mean, in hindsight, I mean, you would think this is why I said in the earlier comment before I got on camera. They hit females from a perspective of emotion, if that makes sense. Because emotion sells, bro. The emotional part of anything sells.
Right.
So they can't hit men from a position of emotion, because men should be logical, and we either go right, should now. I'm not saying all. We either go right, left, up, or down. We don't do south, south, east, north, northwest, and all this other crazy stuff. Right? It's either on or off.
Prime colors. Yeah.
Prime color.
Prime
Listen,
colors.
we don't do magenta. We don't do royal blue.
No.
We do black or white.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but see, but a female is emotional by nature. By nature, she can't help herself. This is the man Kent was talking about a few weeks ago. When it comes to making certain decisions, whether it be in the home, in the workplace, almost 90% of females react off of emotions first. They go off of feelings. Like I told Kent, I'm at the position now in my life that I don't even talk to that much people, bro. Because the minute you start to say, I feel like, conversation over.
Yeah.
Because you're not coming at the situation from a perspective of thinking. And when a person feels that deep, they don't even want to hear the other side of the spectrum, bro. They don't want to hear it, because they feel what they feel, and that's golden, and that's scripture, and put that in the box and lock it and never open it again.
Let me show you something. We're talking about decisions, right? And this kind of ties in to marital rape, as far as knowing who you're spending your life with, right? When you say that, when we use the term proposal, right? When you say, I propose to this person, to my now wife, the way I always understood that, and I understood it more after being married for more than 10 years. You are actually asking this woman to allow you.
Sorry, guys. I'm here. Sorry, Ken. I'm here reading this comment. Boy, when you're done, I am going to address this, boy. Oh, boy. Go ahead, boy.
They have their own argument. But I'm saying, you proposing to this woman to lead her and your future household. It's a proposal, all right? So you're saying to her, listen, without saying it, you say, listen, I have X, Y, Z, or I will have X, Y, Z. I didn't have nothing at the time when I proposed to my wife. I had zero. But she saw that I would have some things later on, or I had some qualities that were, I guess, useful, or that could help her, or that I could be the head of a household. And that's your proposal. You're asking her to say, hey, follow me. Let me be your leader, right? And I will lead us to the promised land, however you want to say it, right? And to me, so the woman, when you get a proposal like that, the woman is supposed to say, okay, is this somebody who's gonna abuse me in all those different ways, sexually, physically, emotionally, financially, and whatever else they could come up with? Is this a person who's going to treat me the way I want to be treated? Is this a person who can protect me? Is this a person who can provide for me? Is this a person who probably will jump in front of a charging bear for me? Is this that guy? Right. Or do I just think he's cute? We can have nice looking babies. Or is this or we have nice sex? or he has money. Or a lot of girls want him, so maybe I should marry him. You know what I mean? Like, it's silly reasons why there's some silly reasons why people just end up together. And when you see those silly reasons, the reasons for them initially getting together, you bound to have nonsense during the relationship, and craziness and abuse and fights and rape and whatever else during the relationship. So what I'm saying is, both parties have a part to play, and this is what I was saying when I was talking about
absolutely.
When the girls walk in the streets, we both have an equal part to play. It's not, well, why don't you all teach men not to look at women? No one's going to teach men that. That's never going to happen. We both have a role to play. Men have to learn to be able to look at women and ignore them when they're trying to get attention, and women at the same time have to not be surprised if they attracting a certain man by doing certain things.
That's never going to happen, though, Ken, on that point there.
Yeah.
Reason being, in today's society, now, women value attention more than life itself, bro. They value attention more than eating. They value attention more than breathing. They value attention more than actual true love.
Wow.
Really. And I want to address
That's
just a
powerful,
comment,
bro.
that I'm telling you, bro. They do. Let me tell you something, bro. Let me explain something.
This chat got a big argument going on here.
That's I'm about to address. Okay, so the first is this. Wendy Lewis Knight said, "Scriptures clearly say that the man should love his wife as Christ loved the church, in that he laid down his life. The scripture never calls for a woman to live her husband to love her husband, though." Okay, I didn't say don't love your wife. Of course, love your wife. So since we're going to take that selective part out of the scriptures, right? Should we take this part out too? The scripture also clearly states that, but it clearly shows that many great men had concubines in the Bible, right?
Boy, that's not gonna be a tough one to win over.
No. I'm not saying we should do that. I'm trying to say that if we're going to take it back, let's take it back 100%. Don't take it back selectively.
Yeah, real talk.
That's what I'm trying to say.
That is very fair.
Okay. Didn't they have multiple wives too? They had multiple wives also, right?
Yeah.
You don't make it too religious, right? The Bible is complicated. The Bible is complicated.
Right. It's complicated. It's complicated because
Exactly. It's very complicated.
So to me, it's always.
Hold on 1 second. Let me just touch on that. I think the gamble is, and maybe it's just a lighthearted statement. The thing about concubines is that I don't think. In fact, I know women. Oh, I want to say something about this. I know women who are okay with a man having multiple relationships, and one of the main reasons why they're okay with it is because he can afford it.
There you go. But you want to know something though, Tyson? In today's society, right? Even if a man could afford it, majority of his modern day females still ain't going for it. The mouth can say anything, you know.
Yeah.
The mouth can say anything, bro. You know that. When it come down to, okay, you here, where you going now? I going over to Susie house because, you know, I have money I could do. Man, look here. Once feelings get involved, it's a wrap.
Right. So I saw a question saying, what's wrong with being emotional?
Go ahead, you got that one.
And that came from a woman that I know. And I think the problem with being emotional about everything is that your emotions happen like this. And if you react, I guess we can't just say that women are emotional. We can say that because men are emotional too, but we don't react like this. Women are emotional and they react on the emotions like this. So and it's very easy to lose a lot of details or to miss a lot of details or not spend enough time thinking about it to catch the details that you need in order to make a proper reaction. And I think that is the challenge that women have versus men. Men are like you would often say, oh, this man is slow. Trust me, if it ain't nothing wrong with you being emotional, it ain't nothing wrong with this man being slow, because he's not being slow, he's being calculated. Yep. He's trying to do the right thing all the time.
Mm-hmm. You know how many men. Okay, when I say men shouldn't be emotional, I'm not talking about you need to be some concrete wall. That's not what I meant. Right. You know, some people take a particular word and take it out of context. What I'm trying to say is that a man should be stoic, and you should be, you know, some sort of logic behind your feelings and behind your every move. You know how many people are in jail or dead right now based off making, you know, a temporary problem a permanent solution? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean by that? You know how many men right now put guns to their head and blow their brains out because they find out their wife or girlfriend is cheating on them? That's a temporary problem, man. That's temporary. But
Yeah.
you taking the permanent solution out of that situation. You don't think for a second the minute you get over your feelings, because your feelings brings you to this point.
Right.
When you
So
get over your feelings, bro, she moving on to the next person. And you
let
gotta
me,
look
let
at it
me
like this too. When stuff like that happens, right? She's doing you a favor. She show you exactly who she is. Believe her. Believe her.
Gosh.
Don't try to make a difference like, oh well, maybe she did it because of this. It doesn't matter. And I'm not trying to say sometimes men don't do things that could, force the situation into that area. Sometimes we do.
Hmm.
But you also have to know when to let situations go as a man. You can't be so emotionally connected to the point that even when you're losing, you're going down in a good fight.
yeah.
Jump that
Right.
ship, let that ship sink, man.
Yeah.
In,
I could
in my
talk.
opinion.
I could talk. No, I've been through what you're talking about. So that I could really speak on that, right? We don't have time to speak on that. But what I'll say in a nutshell is what I've learned from all that experience is um, number one, both of the creatures, both of the male and the female, have the capability to be logical and emotional. However,
Yeah.
the male is usually inherently and still mostly uses logic and thinks in a linear.
Hey, I'll be right back. Gonna grab a drink, guys.
Yeah,
Carry on. I'll be
Yeah,
right
and
back.
man.
think and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
thinks in a linear type of fashion. This will lead to that, will lead to that, will lead to that. Most men think that way. And
Right.
most men will make their decisions in a manner like that. And on the flip side of it, women tend to think emotionally and in circles. And and I told my wife this before, but there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why people get offended when we say that. There's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Right.
The
Of
two
course
are
not.
supposed to the two are supposed to work together. The two are supposed to work together to produce and guide the family for the next generation. That's how it's supposed to work. You can't
And it's
have
supposed to
two
be a
you can't have
mutual
two
level of
robots.
respect.
Right. You can't have two robots and you can't have two emotional saps. Not
Y'all
even
dangerous.
saps. But it's not even no, but it's not even about that. It's not about being someone who shows your emotion. It's about not thinking logically and instead using emotion as the basis for your decision instead of using logic. And that's what it is. It's not about showing the emotion. Anybody can show the emotion. That doesn't mean that they're guided by their emotions. You understand what I mean? You could
Yeah.
have a guy that cries a lot or whatever. He cries in the movie, but that doesn't mean he's guided by his emotions, that he lets emotions make his decisions for him. He's just in tune with his emotions. I saw I forgot I forgot the guy's name, but he made a statement earlier. He said, "So does men who grow up in a strong female home, are they more emotional? Maybe they are. I grew up in a house with a strong female, but the strong female I grew up in a house and she wasn't trying to teach me to be more emotional. She was trying to teach me to be more logical, to be
Yep.
quite honest.
Hmm.
She
Hmm.
was trying to teach me to be more of the man I'm supposed to be. You understand what I'm saying? I just learned about emotion and I learned what certain emotions look like and I learned that women conduct themselves generally, loosely, generally speaking, in a certain way, and men do loosely, generally speaking, in a certain way. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And this is what you said earlier, Dyson. We need to be able to say these things and have these conversations without everybody getting emotional,
Absolutely.
without everybody getting angry about it. You understand what I mean? Because
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong. As a female, what is wrong with being emotional? What's wrong with that? That's your gift. My
Right.
gift is being able
Use it for
to
good.
ignore that for the most part and look at something from another direction. When we come together now, we're supposed to solve whatever problem is in front of us. That's how it's supposed to work. So
And that is the best
I don't
way.
see what's wrong with that.
That's the best way for it to work. I mean, if it doesn't work like that, then why get into the business? Why get
Now,
involved? Why get into the relationship?
now
Um,
Dyson,
it, it yeah.
we gotta address something on the marital rate before we close.
Okay.
Because I think one of the biggest concerns that I have, and I know marital rape is a man-woman issue, and we kind of address a lot of those things. But one of the biggest issue I have as far as changes in the law is concerned is the law um, being biased for some reason, because when we hear these things, when we hear about marital rape, it only seems to be in one direction. When I have seen with my own eyes and treated with my own hands men that have been abused by women. So,
Yeah.
so the next thing is we don't want a law to be established, because we don't live in a country where we don't live in an Eastern country where women have little to no rights, right? We don't live in a country like that. We live in a country, we live in the modern West where women have lots and lots of rights and lots, in my opinion, of equality, but that's for debate. But what I'm saying is we have to be careful that when the law is reworded, rewritten, because again, I said the law already addresses sexual assault in marriage. But when the law is rewritten, reworded, updated, whatever, that is not biased. And we already saw a case just a few weeks ago where a woman tried to weaponize the law before it even came into being, tried to weaponize the situation against her soon-to-be ex-spouse. See what I'm saying? Because in my opinion, if you were raped, you're not going to bring that up in the divorce proceedings. That's supposed to come up. You're supposed to call the police if you were raped.
Right.
If you were raped, if my wife thinks I raped her, she needs to call the police. I would call the police if she said that. If she says you raped me, I'm calling the police.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because this needs to go on record.
Right.
It's funny. It's funny you said that, Kent. Right? But from another side of things, you got to understand the majority of these females that do stuff like that. Not all of them now. Okay, so I'm not condemning all the hell. So please don't take it that way. But the ones that go that route, they already figured out that the laws are set up to benefit them. They already figured that out, man. The whole court system, the whole system overall is more beneficial to women than it is to men. So once they figure that out, okay, once they figure that side of things out, number one, once they figure out that, that's, you remember the Me Too movement? When everybody was coming out, Me Too, they did this, they did that. Listen, a lot of those cases, there was not even no proof of that stuff, man. But the fact that we live in the era of believe her no matter what.
Right.
Men need to stop thinking that all women, some women, not all, are not sugar and spice and everything nice, bro. They're not.
But here's my thing. It was always like that, bro.
Yeah.
And I just told my wife just the other day. If she called the police right now and say I hit her, they carry me, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They ain't asking me no question. They, you know what I'm saying? If Wendy in your house call and say I beat her up, the police come in here and they carry me, and I can get torn up tonight.
Absolutely.
And then tomorrow morning we can try sort out what happened.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend like we live in a society where men have free reign over women and we can do whatever we want and those things. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. That's absolutely not true. If anybody who
like me was talking to Ken, it's like you can't ask for equality across the board and then be selective about which parts you want and which you don't want. Does that make sense, Dyson? I see you nodding with a smile there.
That makes so much sense in so many different aspects of life, because
you can't be that way, bro, because, okay, from a man's perspective, when we ask for equality, we want equality across the board, man. You can't be for certain females, you can't be, well, you know what, I want this and I want that, and then when something happens, be like, nah, you know what, I don't want that one there.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm prepared for equality on all levels.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely agree. And this is something that that Wendy and I have learned and are still learning. Even though I would say that we respect each other on a level where I appreciate I appreciate the way that we are as individuals. But I don't expect for her to be outside with the weed whacker handling the yard.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yep.
I don't now. I'm not against her one day popping out and just saying, okay, she want to try it out, she do it. I'm not gonna feel less of a man. But if that grass growing,
How dare you, bro?
no. But what would make me feel?
Nobody's right. You're right.
Yeah,
We'll never truly have equality as long as there are men like us around. Because most
Yeah,
men ain't gonna sit down and watch their woman with
exactly.
the lawnmower
Agreed.
on. Most real men ain't gonna do that.
right. I can
Agreed.
say, come, give me this.
We were just talking about this the other day,
Hey,
right?
yeah, hey, Dyson, you can say, come. Let me put some
Come.
more gas in this so you can finish it up.
Make
Stop.
sure I go in the corner. Gotta
In
get
the
in the
corner,
corner.
you missed those corners last week, man. Come on.
One of my coworkers said that she had a flat tire. She had a flat tire, and men were just driving past her, right? And she said, she was standing up outside the car, and they was just driving past and looking at us. I said, what happened to equality? So she said, I was just making a joke. Right? So
Right.
she's like, yeah, equality, but still, they should have stopped and helped me. So I said, hold on, where were you? She said she was through one of these back road, but don't have no street lights. I said, that's why nobody stopped.
Nobody wants to die.
But I was making a joke. But the truth is, no matter what we say, no matter what type of equality or whatever agreement or whatever we come to, men like us ain't can never be okay with that. And until that dies out, it literally ain't gonna change. It almost wastes time. You're almost wasting time talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna still open the door. Even if you tell me don't open the door, I'm gonna still open the door.
Yeah.
You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? I'm still gonna make sure you're safe. I'm still gonna jump in the front of the oncoming rhinoceros, whatever it is. I'm gonna do that. You want to take me not a rhino?
Boy, look here. I don't know what no rhinoceros now. I don't know what all that.
No, but I'm saying, it's in your instinct to do that automatically, and I have a problem with us trying to change that. Why are we trying to change that? That's how it's
Mm.
supposed to be. Why are we
Hold
trying
on
to
now.
change that?
Hold on now. Hey, y'all read these comments, man. You know what? We so busy, right, discussing within each other. Y'all ain't reading these comments, boy. Look here.
What's going down?
Wendy, boy, Dyson, this here. You in trouble tonight, bro.
She's very opinionated. That's how she
Listen,
is. What she say?
she says, we birth the babies, we win. Go mow the lawn.
Aye. Ooh, child. Well, I tell you
Hey,
what.
I think it's a wine
No
on that one.
problem.
Hey, I'm not even going to comment on that because I don't want to get
No,
you in trouble.
no. I can comment on that. I say no problem, man. I will go
Mm-hmm.
mow the lawn, but I don't ever want you to forget that you birthed the baby.
Yeah.
You birthed the baby. Don't expect for
Yeah.
me to breastfeed the baby. I
So,
can't breastfeed the baby.
we don't have
You
breasts.
know, don't expect for me to know why I gotta be the one to always change the shitty pumper and you
We don't
only
have
changing
hands.
the
We don't
pissed
have
off
no
pumper.
hands. We don't have
You know,
no hands.
these hands are for mowing the lawn. You know, you
Yeah.
rock the baby to sleep. You know, you do you birth the baby. You
Hey,
understand?
on top of
Doctor's
that, right? On
appointments.
top of that, when I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, and I want that exquisite sandwich to be made,
What
we
type of
gotta show
sandwich?
controversy in there, man.
What type of
So
sandwich?
exquisite,
Exquisite with cheese.
exquisite.
Exquisite sandwich, man, with cheese.
So ultimately, you got three men on this in the Sup'm show right now.
Oh
We
man.
all agree. We
Yeah,
all
yeah, man.
agree. Marital rape. If it has to be on the books, put it on the books. Make sure it's worded properly. Still make it fair.
Yeah, man.
You make it fair because there are women that are gonna try to weaponize it, like
Yeah.
Dr. Bazard said. And there are people and organizations that are going to try to benefit from it,
Yeah, man.
like JP says. So
Yeah, man.
we have to be again. I wish, and I probably end up saying this at the end of every show. I wish that we could all just do the right thing so Jesus don't have to come a second time. But obviously that ain't the case. Obviously we have to, you know, we gotta deal with these weirdos
Yeah,
that are
man.
doing these weird things. And
I
my
still don't
heart,
know who rapes their wife. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I know you finished.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, this is the last thing I want to say. I say my heart goes out to everybody that is suffering because of this same situation that we're discussing right now. I could not imagine. I have to accept that it is a reality. And if there's anything, if I'm ever faced with anyone, or if there's any way, just how we doing this right now, just having the conversation helps the situation. That's what we prepared to do.
All right. So let me close with this right here, right? And then Ken, you could take it home. I think a lot of ladies need to understand something. We as men, we do this for y'all, you know. We do this for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when you run into a particular sect of women that hate men, bash men, whatever, bro, you think we get up to go to work every single day for ourselves? We don't do that shit for ourselves, man. We do that shit for y'all. We do that shit for our kids. Because there's many, you can curse on the show.
Yeah.
There's many piece of shit fucking men out here.
Yeah.
You understand that have just babies upon babies upon babies and don't take care of the family structure at all, bro. So when you run into men that actually have something going for themselves or take pride in taking care of their kids and their family, that's rare. Because ain't every man out there willing to do that shit.
True.
They ain't willing to do it, bro. But see, a lot of these females feel as if they could bring an end to a man like that because they're going to find his replacement. Go ahead. I encourage you to try. Because there's a lot of men out there, you'll be in for a rude awakening. And also, the mental state of men is underappreciated, man. A lot of men out here go through stuff here, bro, but we don't speak on it because society views you as strong.
Yep.
So we don't want to speak on it. So we carry that load with us every day, bro.
Facts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what it takes to get up in the morning, right? Especially if you're in the household with an argumentative woman. You got to get up in the morning, argue with her. Go out on the workplace in the world. Fight the world. Get things done with the world now, which don't have no pity on your situation. The world don't care what you're going through, bro. It doesn't owe you an explanation. The world don't owe you shit. The world don't owe you understanding, right? And only to come home and still got to deal with that shit, man. Come on. Sometimes it's a lot to deal with, bro. So, ladies, don't forget, we do this for y'all, and we do this for the family structure.
Facts.
Point blank. So it should never be a competition between the two sexes, man.
Agreed.
It should never be that way.
100% agree.
We should all come together and try to make it 100% team effort. Like that happy wife, happy life, happy wife bullshit. Kick that out. It should be happy house, happy spouse, happy house. You understand?
That's equality right there.
That's equality right there. Because I'll tell you one thing. Once a woman lose respect for you, you can never get it back.
Boy.
Never. You might as well kill that relationship and move on to something new. She ain't never going to see you as the man, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean in 2022. I ain't trying to sound too toxic masculine right now.
Hey, if women could be emotional, you could be toxic masculine. Go ahead.
Hey, you don't want. Hey, I ain't trying to ruin your show, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. No. In all fairness and all seriousness, we do this for the family structure. We do it for our wives. We do it for those that we care about, and that's what real men do. You know. And I'm gonna leave it as that, man. Go ahead, Ken.
Yep. Well, I gotta say, my brother said everything. Mostly that needs to be said. I think that just going back to the marital rape issue, I think that both of us as men and women are responsible for who we end up in our house with. We need to take more time to figure that out. It all seems to be done so fast these days. Everybody's just racing to get together. And we're doing this backwards. We having the kids first before we develop the relationship. We having the children before we figure out if we can work as a team, if we can even stand each other. You understand what I mean? Divorce rate tripled during COVID lockdown because people learned who they were living with.
Yeah.
They learned that this guy is a rapist during COVID lockdown. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that I think that everybody has the men have the responsibility, one, to not let pretty looks control you. Right? Let me say that again. Don't let pretty looks control you. I've been there many times. Okay? You're gonna fail, you're gonna lose every single time. Focus on developing yourself, focus on developing your life, and being the productive man that you're supposed to be. So that you can find a woman who can support you and have your back like she's supposed to, and don't feel no way about doing it. Because if she feel a way about doing it, like Juan said, if she feel a way about doing it, that means she can lose respect for you, and you'll never get it back.
Never.
Last thing I gotta say is anybody out there who think it's okay for them to rape their wife, come see me. And I mean that. Come see me, because I have a problem with it. I have a problem with it. So if you think it's okay to rape your wife, come see me.
So violent, man.
Straight up, bro. Men don't support or endorse rapists. Period. Men do not endorse rapists. Period. So come see me. If you think it's okay to rape your wife, come see me.
Let me know your location so I can be waiting in the room with you too. You know how to go.
So that's a word. That's a word, Dr. Bazard. Y'all heard it. If you're feeling froggy like that, go see him. Don't come see me because I don't know Kung Fu like that. He could probably sit down and counsel you. But yeah, hey fellas, hey, appreciate it so much. I think we'll let you know what the next topic is next week, everyone. This is the Sup'm show, and this is something that Kent and I felt that we needed to do. This is our civic service. This is our service to our country, to have these conversations in a real way. All right, so that's it, bro.
Hey, before you close it out, I would really like to thank you guys for having me on. You know, to spit my little 2 cents in there.
Anytime, you are always welcome. I didn't know Facebook could do it, like 3. I wonder how many people you could put on one time. But anytime you want to pop in and say a word, bro, you are more than welcome.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. All right, y'all keep being great husbands, you know, great citizens, and we can link on the next time.
Later, y'all.
Peace.